You're watching Eclecticka. I'm Michael, aka Seven. We have Dean
Good
Plakas.
good morning, buddy. How are you? Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning. And we also have Black Crystal. How you doing?
What's up? Morning, everyone.
So, thank you for joining us in another episode of Eclectica. We have a wonderful guest. Dean, please do the honors.
Oh, we've had him on before. He's a great man. He's a very talented man. Author, illustrator, you name it. Every title's there. It's Glenn Fleming, hailing from the UK.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning to you. How are you doing?
All right. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. It's good to be on the show again.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So, you have a character named Hatch.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll show him to you. There he is. You got him there?
Okay.
This
And
little guy. Go ahead.
tell us about Hatch.
Well, he's a little guy, a little alien. He lives on his own little asteroid, and he doesn't know of anybody else, and nobody else lives there. And all these really strange things happen to him. He's just generally going out of his mind, I think. I think it's a little paranoia creeping in there. All sorts of things happening, like tidal waves and explosions and all sorts of stuff. And he just hasn't got a clue what's happening, really. But he just goes through his adventures, and he lives in his little hatch, and he comes out, and, he runs around, and stuff happens, and people throw snowballs at him, and whatever's going on. It just drives him crazy, basically. But he's just this little guy. And he's been around for a while now. I created him about 1987. It's that old. I wanted to break into newspaper strips, humorous newspaper strips, and I'm still wanting to break into humorous newspaper strips with him, But I've got high hopes for him.
Yeah. But it's newspaper strips. I'm trying to break into them too. It's pretty difficult considering what's happening to the media itself. Where the funniest, when the papers used to be this thick, now they're like this thin, and they're totally, they're putting the funnies in different areas of the sex newspaper. It's sort of like a dwindling art there.
Yeah,
it's tough.
We only get, I think I've not Sunday paper for years, but I think we just get colour ones on Sundays now. Get through, through the weekend or the days in the newspapers. It does seem to be a difficult area to crack.
Yeah.
But there's always hope, and you've just got to keep trying.
That's right. The key thing is to be persistent. Eventually, something will happen. Now, Hatch, how'd you come up with Hatch?
I don't know. I think he's probably partly me. I'm confused about the world, just like everybody else, and all these strange things going on. I don't know. It was just a little guy who came along. I was doing several things at the time. I think I've shown you before. I was doing a strip called Forest, and I think you've seen some of that. And I just wanted to do a solo character rather than drawing all these people running around everywhere, And I just got into it. I just devised his little asteroid and had him floating through space. And I thought, well, if he's going to be on his own, what can happen to him? And I thought, well, everything can happen to him. And it just increases his confusion. It's quite funny when you read it. I think you've seen some in Crikey, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting, concept because, you think about it, here he is, doesn't know anything about anything. So even the slightest thing, it's...
Well, he gets. I don't know how it is in America. I don't think you get the milkman bringing milk bottles anymore, do you? If you ever did, I suppose you go to the supermarket. But he'll wake up in the morning and find a milk bottle there, or a letter, or a newspaper, or something from
there's something somewhere. Drifting along space comes along, and
there's
so cool that it is.
There's one strip that a horse runs past. This kind just crazy stuff like that, and it's just a mad little character, really. But I think the scope is endless because I'm going to have him time traveling and all sorts.
Wait a minute. Getting the volume changing going on there. Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
all right. I'm going to have him skipping around the universe. I think I'm going to have to widen his horizons and have him popping up in Paris or something on the Eiffel Tower or Statue of Liberty or something. And that'll really do his head in because he just won't know where the hell he is. But we'll see what happens with that.
And so was he originally in going back to the papers, you started to strip. Did you? I know you had them in the Crikey magazine, which I have one here, that was published by Glenn. And I got to say, it's a really brilliant. It was a really brilliant magazine, Glenn.
Thanks for that. It was a shame. I think I told you, Dean, that it started off as a little sort of fanzine thing, really, and then I decided to put it into Borders, increase the page count and the print run and all that kind of thing, and then Borders collapsed and took all my money with it and took all my copies with it. Yeah. So that was, it's all about timing, and that was the wrong time.
It was, it was really a shame because I mean, there's a wealth of history and knowledge in these articles. I mean, it was really well done. And of course, you had Hatch in here too. Is this where you started first printing Hatch in Crikey?
That's where he was first published, yeah.
Okay.
He's only still been published in there. It's just something that I pulled out of the drawer to put in. We decided to, because the magazine's about comics, we decided to actually have some comics in it rather than just interviews with people. Right. But we've got some real big people in there, like Pat Mills, who created Judge Dredd. Brian Talbot, who's an artist in 2000 AD.
Oh, well, we know him here. I remember him doing a lot of work on American comics. Yeah.
Yeah, and Alan Moore used to read it as well, so he's pretty good.
Alan Moore.
We've got some big names in there.
Yeah, Alan Moore, of course, had that great run on Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
created The Watchmen.
Yeah.
I mean, so many of his comics have been turned into movies. Watchmen, V for Vendetta.
That's right.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah,
I mean,
a whole lot of things.
Yeah, it's a big name to be in this magazine.
That's right.
And have you collected the previous Hatches and put them in a book?
No, they're not compiled yet. And there's lots of ideas I've got that I want to work on with him. That's why I'm putting it through that Kickstarter thing, because I have to tell you, since the Borders thing went down, I've just been stony broke. It cost me a lot of money, and so I couldn't necessarily afford to print it right now myself to put it out. But I've got some good outlets like Forbidden Planet. I don't know whether you have Forbidden Planet in America.
Yes.
Right. Well, they used to take the biggest, independent delivery of Crikey. And they've told me that if this Hatch book comes out, they'll give me a couple of signings at a couple of their stores that will help, that kind of thing, promote it.
Okay.
So I think they'll take them, but it's getting the money together to publish it, to print it, really. I can do the drawings and all that, and a lot of it's done. So I'm going on Kickstarter to try and get those funds together.
All right, good. We'll put that on our site. I'll help you out, write an article on it.
How big is Kickstarter in the UK?
Massive.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got
those guys. Their office is right there in New York.
Right. They've turned over something like $2 billion now, I think.
Wow.
In what, 4 or 5 years? It's incredible.
Wow.
It's incredible thing. So, it seems to be the best place. Although I have to say, I did put Crikey out, Hatch out last year, but it didn't work. So I'm going to redo it, resharpen up the video and stuff like that, and get it out there again. And hopefully, with coverage like this, it will help.
Where would you like to take Hatch? Do you want to put him into take it further into comic book form, into animation?
Animation would be a fantastic thing. Yeah, animation, of all the things I've done in my career, animation was the one when I was 18 that I wanted to do, and it's the only one I've not done, really. So I'd like to, but I like to. I have this discussion with a friend of mine, and he's always saying that print is dying and people want ebooks and all this kind of stuff, which I suppose is true in a way. But I want, if I do an animated film of Hatch, I want to draw every cell. I don't want to use a computer. I want to, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it was 7 million drawings. Well, I want to do 7 million drawings,
and sell each one later on for like.
That's right. Yeah. Original artwork, yeah.
Yeah, I remember working at the Warner Brothers studio store, and they sell, man. You can sell them for a lot of money.
Yeah, that's right. Well, a friend of mine is an artist. He does fantasy book covers, but he does them all on a Syncay or something, or whatever it's called. He draws on a computer screen, and it'd be great, but he's got no originals to sell.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm always pointing that out to him.
But there's a people are beginning to call back for animated. You know, they get pretty tired of CGI cartoons.
Yeah, it's too smooth and too perfect.
Yeah, there are groups there who are still supporting. You know, don't give up on that. But and there are a lot of people who still prefer hard copy over.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's the kind of creature we are. You know, we're tactile. We like to smell things, and you know, smelling the print on the book is fantastic, and holding it in your hand and everything like that. You know, and when I'm doing my work, I use artboard or paper, pencils, ink, color. You know, inks, colored inks. I don't do it on the computer. I must say that I did color hatch on the computer for Crikey.
Do you find that easier to do computer color as opposed to?
I don't think it's a question of being easier. I just think it's a different way of doing it. But the computer just is so perfect, and some of the best stuff you get is when you make a mistake. You know.
I have a question for Glenn. Can I see the picture of Hatch one more time? Yeah, I was totally thinking, have you ever thought about maybe doing him as like claymation? Because I think like that art style would be perfect for something like that.
Well, it's funny you should say that because my wife is a ceramics artist.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and I'm trying to get her to create that.
Because I think I love claymation animation. That's one of my favorite. I think it's a lot more work even than just drawing everything out because of the sculpting. So I think that character, it's got such great features that would be so amazing in some type of clay.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because for them traveling in space and all that, that would make a good going.
Well, are you guys familiar with Wallace and Gromit?
Oh yes.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Trousers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah. All of that.
I'd like to see Tom Hanks play Hatch, and see if he could mess that one up. That was a joke. Yeah, claymation would be fantastic. Yeah, but that's Helen's area.
Got to get the wife on that. The wife needs to know that.
You got it in right there, man.
Be like, listen, honey, I'm sorry, but.
Well, I'm gonna get.
You got a voiceover actor right there in Michael. I mean, you got everything. Just do it, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get her to. I said to her, she'd just gone out. I said to her, "Do you want to do the interview? You know, so I can just go and watch the football." But she wouldn't do that. So you could have been discussing the Hatch animation in claymation by now, but she's not here.
Yeah, it'd be a lot less expensive to do that right here in New York in our studio. with our voices.
I've been trying to get him to come to New York for the last 2 years.
Well, the only thing is that Hatch doesn't have the voice, so it's all silent.
So that's because it's supposed to be silent in space.
That's right. So
well,
you know.
What one thing we didn't discuss with Hatch, which I think is really important before we move on to another topic, what was the birth of Hatch? Like why? Why Hatch? Why the name Hatch?
How'd you hatch
Why does he look the way he looks? Like
I honestly can't remember. I just drew it. I was throwing lots of things.
It
was a bottle of wine. He woke up.
I seem to remember a discussion with a couple of people over some wine. Yeah, and I had this. They were asking me what I was doing, and I was doing that forest strip that I showed you, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, this is great," and all this. And I said, but what I really want to do is my own character and this little guy. And it just came from that. And I think what I did actually, and I know nobody's listening, but what I think I did, just made it up on the spot. And they were really impressed. So I've been working on this little guy. He's on an asteroid by himself, and I just made it up. So
really?
Generally, yeah.
That's a true artist right there.
I
okay.
a good idea.
Now, was there any?
Because he comes out of the hatch, you named him Hatch, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Out of Hatch, and
was there any inspiration from The Little Prince at all?
No.
Nope.
No. No. No.
Never.
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 He he does look like. Do you get Mr. Bean?
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Rowan Atkinson. Yeah.
He looks like he messes up a lot, but he's cute. I'd like him. He's like a minion, but not yellow.
Are you talking about Hatch or Michael?
Oh my god.
That was a good one.
It's over. That's it. End segment. Sorry, wrap. It's a wrap.
Oh man.